It's been a while, but today we will be doing an addition to a different series, not the video study series, but I'll be doing a book review on a very probably highly reviewed book. Actually, now that I look at it, just on the back right here, by people very more notably, or very much notable, much more notable and um, acclaimed or credible, or I don't know how I necessarily should say that, but anyways, this book isn't kind of a back of the shelf type book. This is a book that I would say most Christians that believe as I believe have on their shelves, especially if they read um, you know theology books and stuff like that, so on and so forth. So books on doctrine. But this book is, as you may know if you watched my last book review, I told you guys before time what I'd be doing next, which is Evidence That Demands a Verdict, um, Life-Changing Truth for a Skeptical World. It's by Josh McDowell and Sean McDowell. Now, this is the completely updated and expanded classic. So I think Josh or Sean originally wrote the first one, and then one of them is the son and one of them is the father. I think Sean's the son, and um, they together did a revision, an updated and expanded classic. So this isn't the original, I don't think, but this is the one that's been out for a while, uh, and I think this is the one that everybody mainly knows about. As for, like I said, the people who have um, spoken well of it, I mean, you have Ravi Zacharias, Lee Strobel, um, I would, yeah, William Lane Craig. I was gonna say I wouldn't doubt William Lane Craig isn't on here. But like, for example, I'll just read what he says. Josh McDowell's Evidence That Demands a Verdict is now a classic of apologetics, having served to spur a renaissance of historical Christian evidences in our day. It is therefore a welcome development that this classic has now been updated in the light of the recent and significant advances, light or in light of the recent and significant advances in biblical studies, and particularly in history or historical Jesus studies. So, um, many other people, Tony Evans, Jim Daly, Dolly, uh, Craig Evans, Justin Brierly. Oh yeah, Justin Brierly. That's another guy I watch. I'll just read his. If actually that's another channel that would be worth checking out. Unbelievable is the name of the channel. Justin Brierly's podcast and radio show. Uh, Josh McDowell was one of the first guests to feature on my radio debate show, Unbelievable, and Sean has been one of the most recent. I've been hugely impressed by both generations of Christian thinkers, and this new edition of Evidence That Demands a Verdict, their combined knowledge, integrity, and passion for sharing the gospel has produced something truly special. Evidence was the book that first brought evidential apologetics to a popular audience. This updated edition, compre- comprehensive in scope and yet immensely readable, will powerfully present the latest evidence to a new generation with a new set of questions. This book remains an essential resource for the thinking Christian who wants to give a reason for the hope that they have. And that's beautiful, actually, that he says that at the end, because he's actually quoting from the verse that we get apologetics from, which actually go watch my evangelists versus apologists video, and I explain that more. But one of the main verses we derive apologetics from in the Bible is 1 Peter 3:15, where it says, um, be ready to answer any questions about the hope that you have. And so he says this book remains an essential source for every thinking Christian who wants to give a reason for the hope that they have. So he's obviously drawing from that when he says that. But um, this book is the ultimate apologetic book, really, because this is where I'm going to start giving you my opinion of it. But this is the ultimate apologetics book because although I'm not sure if it actually teaches you how to do apologetics or anything like that. I'm not quite sure because this is the only book that I'll probably do where I won't read the whole thing before I do the review as I'm doing now, because this book literally just covers an array of questions. So you can look chapter 16, archaeology in the Old Testament. Chapter 11, is Christianity a copycat religion? Chapter 6, the historical existence of Christ. For example, where is it at? There was one, the martyrdom of the apostles. That's chapter 13. So it goes over tons of history, tons of questions. Basically, any question most people would have that were a skeptic or someone who was doubting, this is most likely going to give you an answer. So that's the beauty of this book, and that's why it's really essential that I feel like all of us, as consistent Christians, because I know that there isn't, it's hard to come by consistent Christians, it seems, if you know what I mean. But we all fall short in some way or another, so I'm not dropping a hammer on anyone. Simply just saying that this is something we should all have. We should use as a tool, because this thing will answer questions that you may have posed to you that you can't answer in the moment, and you come back to this and you go, well, hold on, maybe this can answer it for me. So definitely a must. Okay? So I give my whole, it gets the 2 thumbs up this time. And every time, because of its usefulness. Not often will we have a book where I give it 2 thumbs down or a thumb down at all, because realistically the only reason it's going to be getting a video is because it deserves a good review. Unless it's a terrible book, and then I'll just be like, look, this is a terrible book, don't get it. So usually I try to stray from terrible books though, so it might not be as often. Maybe I'm skipping over something. Maybe there's something I didn't cover enough. This book was, I think, about like $30 when I got it. You could probably get it for cheaper. I think it's 25, 20, 30, something like that. But it's definitely worth it. And I know some people are like, a book, $20, $25. It's worth it. This is a hardcover, so they might have a soft cover, which may be cheaper too. So look for that. As for the next book, the one and only, critically acclaimed for sure. I actually bought this this copy like 2 years ago at least, and it says right there, #1 bestseller. One of the most important thinkers to emerge on the world stage for many years. This book says a lot more about what it's talking, a lot more about Peterson than what it's actually talking about. Because at the end of the day, these are Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. It's a great book. I'm not going to give you my, even though you probably know what I'll give it. But there's a lot, it's going to be a lot longer video when I do this book, because this touches on things, and there's a lot of touches on things that are of high significance, and there's a lot of talk around this man's name, who he is, what he believes, and so this is definitely a must review. So I'm lagging on it. I've been lagging on the reviews in general. I got this one down. Okay, it's a great one. Okay, I already got the lineup too. I already know what's coming after this one, but this is next. So hang in there. It'll be coming. It should come sooner than this one did. You know, from my last one, because it's been probably at least 2 months since I did a book review. So I've been doing more video studies. I wanted to do a video study tonight, but I knew I'm lagging. Got to get the book review out. So I'll say it again. Evidence that demands a verdict, life-changing truth for a skeptical world. Josh McDowell, Sean McDowell. Don't sleep on it.